Okay. Recording is on.
Yes.
Okay, so then I can start there. Welcome to the next Easy Happy Hour. Topic series is still Easy Mix and Match. And today I'm going to talk about revisiting the Easy Bot. Okay, so some Easy Bot facts. It's an GitHub app installed into, I think, 3+ repositories. So 3 easy repositories. It's installed in software layer scripts, and the compatibility layer. Install means that it reacts to events, webhooks, things that happen on these repositories. So, for example, a pull request is opened, or a label in a pull request is set, or a comment was generated. Also, pull request was closed or merged. So those kind of events it reacts on. And I also mentioned plus because it is also, I believe, installed into other repositories, but I won't talk about these other repositories right now. As far as I can recall, we use the bot since about the fall 2023, so a bit more than almost 2.5 years now, I would say. And all software that is available via Software EasyIO is built with it. So that's about 30,000 installations. 30,000 installations, not 30 million. So that means for all the software packages for all the different CPU and GPU architectures. It is written in mostly Python, also using some Bash and using .ini style configs. When we started, we built this specifically for the Easy software layer repository, and at the time it also included what is now in the software layer script, so all scripts that we use to build the software layer packages. But then we gradually made it agnostic to these above repositories. So we can also use it in scenarios beyond Easy. Yeah, for example, you could use it to build your own local stack. There's some links also for how this works, how to add software, the workflow, but also for the contribution policy. That is good starting points when you want to interested in adding software to Easy. How this looks like, so this is maybe a picture you have already seen. So that's the overall workflow, how we add software. And when I'm talking about the EasyBot, then I'm talking about this right part on the right-hand side. Yeah, so all those up to uploading tarballs to the S3 bucket, this is all what the bot, EasyBot, is involved with. Now, I was thinking about talking about some shortcomings the bot has. Yeah, so we use it for 2.5 years. We have installed all the software, but still there may be things that we could think about changing in the future. So when I talk about it is actually 3 components. It's a SME client that connects to a SME server, and GitHub or GitLab, they send events to this SME server and not directly to your bot instance. So in that way, the bot that running on some cluster receives webhook. We have a job manager that basically observes the Slurm queue on the cluster and perform some actions when something happens with the job. There's a new job, or job has finished, and so on. And we have the event handler that receives these events, webhooks from GitLab or GitHub, and then performs some action. For example, submitting a new job when you want to build some software package, or maybe providing a status overview of all the builds that have happened in a pull request. So we have these three components. I would think that the configuration is a little bit cumbersome. Once you have a configuration file, and then you can just copy it, maybe it's fine. Yeah, so it is still quite some work. So always when I want to test something, and I don't really have this configuration file, I feel the pain that probably also people have when they first look into using the bot. Also, the .ini format is a little bit hard to consume in a plain shell environment. The credentials we need so that the bot works, they are not so well protected. So of course they are all protected by by the system, system user and permissions you set on the files, but not more than that. At the moment, we basically support a single fixed workflow, which has 4 steps. First, you build something, then you check the build, then you test it, and then you check the test. The results of these check build and check test you see in the pull request in this status table. At the moment, while I mentioned GitLab, at the moment, only GitHub is fully supported, but there's ongoing work by Sondre to support also GitLab. Another shortcoming is that it requires full access to pull requests because it wants to add or edit comments for reporting the status. And for doing this, it needs full access, so also write access to pull requests. That could mean that, for example, if the bot is hacked, it could actually modify the pull request when you want to add software. And of course, that's not what we want. Test coverage, so unit tests as well, is relatively low, and that's also ongoing work by Sondre to improve that. At the moment, we only support Slurm as a backend. And when we started about 2.5 years ago, we had basically one bot instance running. Now we have like, I don't know, 5, 6 or so for the software EESSI, plus a few others for other purposes. And it's a little bit difficult to have an overview about the status of all these bot instances. For example, are they still alive? Which version do they run? And so on. Yeah. So all these shortcomings we should hopefully address in the future. So I have here a long wish list for a new EasyBot. So new EasyBot could run as a single process running several threads, and these threads then have distinct functions like the SME client or the job manager or the event handler. Between these threads, they could communicate via internal messages and use queues or buses, depending on what kind of interaction you need between these components. Probably good to use YAML as a configuration format. And as mentioned, also the credential management is not so good at the moment. It would be good to have flexible, comprehensive options to manage all kinds of secrets we need. Also, I think it would be good to support flexible workflows that maybe are defined by the repository. So we have these software layer scripts, and this could actually define what workflow you would actually want to run. So then you would be much more flexible in doing what you need in your software or whatever repository. Of course, as mentioned, we have ongoing work on supporting GitLab, and it would be nice maybe also in the future to have this more flexible, that we could also add support for other code hosting platforms. a shortcoming we have right now is that we need this full access permissions to the code hosting platform, particularly pull requests, and there exist alternatives with, I think, check status in a pull request. Would be good if we can support this. We can maybe still support the existing version, and then let the user decide what they want. Also, of course, it's good to aim at full test coverage and also add integration and end-to-end tests. Now, a requirement is that we have a Slurm cluster, and maybe that's a bit too strong requirements. Let's assume we get just a single node with a, I don't know what kind of architecture. And if you want to use the bot and then just have to use Slurm or Slurm available, that's maybe a bit too much ask. So just using processes as execution backend would be nice. I think Flux is also very interesting resource management framework maybe for the future. It would be nice to support different execution backends. And then I mentioned the status page for bot instances with a couple of information like are they live, how much quota is left on the system. Yes, sometimes there's no quota and we can just use as much as we want. Sometimes there's quota and would be good to know when the quota expires, for example. And of course, it would be good to keep the user interface as much as possible the same what we have right now. Maybe with some improvements to the command structure. So looking at that, 5 of these things are sort of implemented already. So I started developing this maybe about half a year ago. And whenever there's a bit free time, I work on this. So all components run as threads. They communicate via some internal messages. We're using YAML as configuration format. We have also quite good options to manage credentials and test coverage is quite high. So then I thought also maybe it's good to have a logo. So because until now we didn't have a logo, so we had have this symbol for the bot, but not the real logo. So I thought maybe having a logo like this uses a bit the easy colors, but also shows that it is more a bot. Then I thought, okay, how about a name? So I thought if we just add one to bot, CPU could be maybe a name. Okay, and then I just thought, so that doesn't look like it's just presenting. Also, just give a short demo. So this is just running on my local machine. There's no backend yet implemented, but just showing you the startup of this. So this runs quickly. It just tells you that it loaded the configuration from some file and tells you a bit information about the environment. And also, for example, how you can override settings. And if you like this a bit more colorful, then I can also show you how this looks with a few more colors. If you like fancy terminal effects, then it looks like this. Okay. So I think that's about it, what I wanted to show. So the current status, what I'm so the SME component is implemented. You can receive events, and in a moment I'm working on validating webhooks. And that's all I wanted to show, and now open for questions.
Maybe I can start by questioning. So, for now, only Slurm is supported, and you said Flux might be some interest to support Flux in the future. So, any also intentions for supporting PBS or any other schedulers or?
If I would think I would focus on processes first, just so that you can just run it on a VM. Maybe you get a VM with or machine with specific architecture, but you don't want to install Slurm on this and then using that machine directly. I think that would be good. And I don't know. I have never seen PBS in the last 10 years. Maybe they exist in the wild. I don't know. Probably it would be very low priority for me.
Mhm. And another question, now that everything is about AI and machine learning, any thoughts about having when you trigger the build and the build fails, it automatically pushes the logs to an LLM, which gives you a hint what could the failure be, or this is
Mhm.
something too complicated for?
Uh, I think that's a good question. I don't think it's maybe it's in a sense it could be complicated because we you have to avoid that any credentials also leak. Yeah, and you don't want to send them not to a human, maybe even more so not to some AI assistant. But in principle, this could be done. I don't think that this is maybe something specific for the bot, more like for the logic that, for example, sits in the software layer scripts repository. Yeah. I don't see any comments on the chat. So if someone has a question from the chat, then let me know.
Any intentions for releasing or having a new release before the end of year for the bot, or basically the core changes are already set and
So I think we would now develop again as we do for let's say for the last maybe couple of months in parallel. Yeah, so Sondre works on implementing support for GitLab. We would do this in the current bot code. Um, I would hope that we can support more commands. With GitLab. So at the moment we have support for the help command, but I would hope that we have support for other commands too. And for this new bot, I would hope that uh, maybe we can try it at some point still this year, so that we maybe have better view on switching to this one. Yeah, or maybe later. Yeah, so I don't know. Depends a bit on how much free time goes into developing this.
I guess today most of the usual attendees are in the ISC, so that's why we're a bit low in number and no much questions here. Any other questions before we stop the recording? Then I guess I will stop the recording for now. And just before that, I would like to mention that next week is the last uh, happy hour session before summer, and we'll see how to manage this after the summer vacation. And we will be covering a more informative session about the ISC, the event, what happened there, some live talks from there also. So this is next week's topic. For now, I will stop the recording.